Hello, welcome back to my laboratory. Now, I did say we'd be doing some more experiments with sulphur, and one of the very first experiments I remember at high school, which was performed by my chemistry teacher, Mr. Weir, was combining two elements, namely zinc, and this is the form of a powder, zinc powder, and it was mixed with equal parts sulphur, which of course is a yellow powder that we were looking at earlier, reacting with potassium nitrate. And one of the experiments that we did was mixing sulphur with iron powder, and it was to show the difference between mixtures and compounds. So whenever the sulphur and the iron powder were mixed together, you could separate them easily by using a magnet, for instance, to take out all the iron, and the sulphur was left behind. Whenever you heated them up in a test tube, you formed iron sulphide, which was a union of the two elements to make a compound called iron sulphide. Now, on the way past, Mr. Weir decided to mix some zinc powder with some of the sulphur, and in this little mortar here I've got some equal volumes of sulphur and zinc powder, and my assistant and I discovered that with this little wooden spoon you can make a lovely psycho sound. So all we're going to do is replicate this experiment, which I think is one of the more memorable experiments I ever did at school, and that was to put it onto a wire gauze in the fume cupboard and heat it up with a Bunsen burner and stand back and watch and see what happens. So we're going to do that right now. So I'm just going to put this small amount of sulphur and zinc powder, turn up the gas, and heat it up and stand back and see what happens. Shouldn't take very long. The sulphur has now ignited, and it should react quite spectacularly with the zinc. And the fume cupboard is now filled, or fume hood as the Americans will say, is filled with very dense smoke of zinc sulphide. Let me just turn the gas off here. Now we get this lovely yellow powder called zinc sulphide, and it's actually, I'm going to try this because say we're not doing any editing, just to see if it works. It's usually phosphorescent in the dark. Normally you have to keep a lot of light on top of it. It's normally phosphorescent, in case you didn't hear that because the camera was in the fume cupboard. So I'm going to turn the light and see if it glows. If it doesn't, we're going to shine a really bright light on it in the future and see whether we've made phosphorescent zinc sulphide. Can't see a thing. No, total failure. But anyway, we'll try that again. So there we have some very fun way of synthesizing zinc sulphide. So please like and subscribe.